Hello, this is CVR News Network. You're watching CVR English. Welcome to World 360 with me, Sandeep. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un hugged returning soldiers during a rare welcoming ceremony for an army engineering unit back from a mission in Russia. State media footage showed emotional scenes, including Kim embracing wounded troops as he praised their heroic conduct during a 120-day deployment in Russia's Kursk region amid the ongoing Ukraine war. The images underscored the deepening military ties between Pyongyang and Moscow and reveal North Korea's direct role in Russia's battlefield.
조선노동당 중앙군사위원회 명령을 높이 받들 세 차례 굽이쳤습니다. 장한 아들들을 조선들이 환영식에 참가했습니다. 영군술 대같은 믿음과 사랑으로 우리 무력을 사상정신과 절시 메아리쳤습니다. 김정은 높이 조국으로 돌아온 공병부대 관병들에게 공화국 무력 최고 사령관에게 정중히 보고했습니다.
그룹파 책임자 육군중장 정명남
연대의 자랑찬 전투 성과를 축하합니다.
김정은 동지는 연대의 자랑찬 전투 성과를 열렬히 축하해 주셨습니다. 김정은 동지께서는 무비의 영웅성과 전문성 격려해 주시면서 사랑하는 아들들을 흘린 피와 땀, 희생은 영원히 헛되지 않을 것이며 제528 공병연대에 경의를 드린다고 하시면서 연설을 마치시었습니다. 김정은 동지께서 연설을 공화국 정부의 위임에 따라 불멸의 위훈으로 빛나는 연대기에 정신 세계와 전투 위훈을 높이 평가해 주시면서 뜨겁게 격려하셨습니다. 구호를 위한 성전에서 발휘한 우리 군인들의 용감성과 영웅성은 우리 국가의 제일 가는 긍지로 김정은 동지께서는 당과 혁명 위협에 대한 군인의 충성을 하나같은 용감성으로 빛나는 미훈으로 보여준 믿었고 장한 전투원들을 따뜻이 품어 안아주시며 효련의 정을 부어주셨습니다. 조국의 그들과 건군사의 길이 남을 뜻깊은 기념사진을 찍으셨습니다.
Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas met Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni in Rome to discuss long-term support for the Gaza stabilization and reconstruction. Meloni reaffirmed Italy's commitment to play the leading role in rebuilding Gaza and promoting regional stability amid the ongoing ceasefire.
Reparto d'onore, attenti! Reparto onore presenta onori al presidente della Palestina. bandiera di guerra del 1° Reggimento Granatieri di Sardegna e reparto d'onore pronti per la rassegna.
China marked the anniversary of 1937 Nanjing massacre with a notably locally memorial ceremony as President Xi Jinping stayed away despite rising diplomatic tensions with Japan over Taiwan. The subdued commemoration becomes even as Beijing and Tokyo spar over wartime history and recent remarks by Japan's leadership suggesting a military response in the event of a conflict over Taiwan. The massacre remains a deeply sensitive issue in China-Japan relations, with dispute death tolls and long-standing disagreements over historical accountability continuing to shape a regional diplomacy.
Nanjing 大屠杀是案子。
中华民族是国力强大、势力自强的伟大民族，
扎实推进全体人民共同富裕。
历史已经证明，并将继续证明，任何企图复国军国主义、挑战战后国际秩序、破坏世界和平的政治情境，世界上一切爱好和平和正义的人民绝不会答应，都注定要失败。
南京大屠杀是案子。
U.S. President Donald Trump said the United States is beginning land strikes against drug traffickers after claiming major success in intercepting narcotics shipments by sea. Speaking at the White House event, Trump said U.S. forces have stopped 96% of the drugs coming in by water and warned that those bringing drugs into the country are now considered targets. His remarks come amid an expanded U.S. military presence in the Caribbean, the recent seizure of a Venezuelan oil tanker, and growing debate in Congress over the legality and the transparency of the anti-drug campaign, which has already involved dozens of strikes and raised concerns among the human rights advocates.
Nobody thought it was possible. It really shows that,
Do you intend on seizing more oil assets from Venezuela and other tankers?
I wouldn't tell you that. I mean, it wouldn't be very smart for me to tell you that. We're supposed to be a little bit secretive. You're a very big-time reporter, and I don't think I want to tell a big-time reporter or a small-time reporter that. But we are knocking out drugs at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We knocked out 96% of the drugs coming in by water. And nobody can figure out who the 4%. I wouldn't want to be the 4% either, but 96% of the drugs coming in by water. Every one of those boats you see get shot down, you just saved 25,000 American lives. But we knocked out 96% of the drugs coming in by water, and now we're starting by land, and by land is a lot easier, and that's going to start happening. And we're not going to have people destroying our youth, destroying our families. Forget about youth, everybody. Colombia has at least 3 cocaine factories. That's a different country. We're not happy about it, but we're stopping it. And we've stopped it now on water. You don't even find boats on water. You don't even see fishing boats on water. You want to go fishing in that area? Does anybody want to go fishing in that area? I don't think so. So I just want to say this. We have now a strong border. A year and a half ago, we had millions of people pouring through. Now we have nobody coming in through our border. And we have a strong country. We have a country that's respected, and we're going to keep it that way. And we're not going to let people kill 300,000 people a year with drugs. Yes. But it's not only land strikes on Venezuela. It's land strikes on horrible people that are bringing in drugs and killing our people. If we were in a war and we lost 300,000 people in a year, because that's what the real number is. It's not 100. You keep hearing 100. And it's a lot worse than that because the families are devastated when they lose their child. If we were in a war and we lost 200,000 or 300,000, but I think it's more than 300,000, and that's a war that's like a war that would be unparalleled. Nobody's ever seen anything like that, and that's what's happening. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in Venezuela. It's people that are bringing in drugs we celebrate to this day. Nobody thought it was possible. It really shows.
The United States has accused Rwanda of fueling conflict in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, claiming Kigali provides military, political, and logistical support to M23 rebels. U.S. Ambassador Mike Waltz told the UN Security Council that Rwanda is leading the region towards increased instability and war, urging restraint and accountability. Burundi warns that ongoing attacks could escalate into direct confrontation, while Congo calls for international action to hold Rwanda responsible. Rwanda denies all accusations. The escalating conflict threatens regional peace and could undermine U.S. brokered efforts to stabilize the area.
The 10,063rd meeting of the Security Council is called to order.
Thank you to our briefers today. Colleagues, and the United States is profoundly concerned and incredibly disappointed with the renewed outbreak of violence in the eastern DRC. And sincere demonstration. Kigali has been intimately involved in planning and executing the war in eastern DRC, providing military and political direction to M23 forces and AFC for years now. The Rwandan Defense Forces have provided materiel, logistics, and training support to M23 as well as fighting alongside M23 in DRC with roughly 5,000 to 7,000 troops as of early December. A member state that itself is a troop contributor to peacekeeping missions. And in light of the commitments made in the Washington Accords, we are deeply concerned that the Rwandan military's continued presence in Congolese territory in support of M23, and we will use the tools at our disposal to hold to account spoilers to peace. We call on Rwanda to uphold its commitments and to further recognize the government of the Democratic Republic of Congo's right to defend its territory and its sovereign right to invite Burundian forces onto its territory. We are engaging with all sides to urge restraint and to avoid further escalation, including refraining from hostile anti-Tutsi rhetoric.
Mr. President, Excellencies, members of the Council, we have reached a moment of truth. Either the international order accepts being openly defied, namely by Rwanda, or this Council assumes its responsibility. Impunity has gone on for far too long. The Congolese people cannot continue to bear the cost of...
I thank Her Excellency, Ms. Kaikwa.
Je tiens à être clair. La retenue a des limites. Si ces attaques irresponsables devaient se poursuivre, il deviendrait extrêmement difficile d'éviter une escalade directe entre nos deux pays.
These are early warnings, indicators of atrocity crimes.
Tens of thousands of Cambodians have been displaced amid escalating border clashes with Thailand. Supplies are arriving at temporary shelters in Odar, Manshay province, but civilians face shortages of food, water and medical care. Governor Min Chanyada urged for the full ceasefire, calling an international support to protect the civilians at the end of the violence. With rockets and artillery exchanged along with 817-kilometer border, this week's clashes have killed at least 20 people and left hundreds wounded.
We are very victim from the Thai military. We pity on our people. Yes. One, we can say that now we have very strong solidarity. Cambodian, very strong solidarity. We have one leadership. We have strong military. We have a very, how I can say, our people are very charity. You can see the private company, all the charity people are sacrificed, come to our displaced people or our refugees. They do from their heart. That's why on behalf like locality, I'm very proud of our people. We help each other in the difficult situation. This is the slogan. So from this, we can say that we can struggle with the difficult situation and hope that one day the problem will solve. We need peace.
Thailand's acting Prime Minister Anutin Charnvirakul told U.S. President Donald Trump that Thailand is not the aggressor in the ongoing conflict with Cambodia. The Thai leader emphasized that Thailand is protecting its sovereignty, people and assets after recent clashes along the disputed border. Anutin urged that Cambodia must first withdraw troops, cease hostilities and remove landmines before a ceasefire can be fully respected. The phone call comes amid intense cross-border skirmishes, which have been some of the worst since July, when Trump previously mediated a temporary truce.
นะครับทางท่านประธานาธิบดีทรัมป์ของสหรัฐอเมริกาท่านก็มีความเป็นห่วงในสถานการณ์แล้วก็อยากจะให้ทุกอย่างเนี่ยมันได้กลับไปยังจุดที่มันเคยเป็นอยู่ก็คือกลับไปที่ตัวปฏิญญาร่วม Joint Declaration ที่เราเซ็นที่มาเลเซียฝ่ายไทยเกิดการสูญเสียอวัยวะชีวิตทรัพย์สินแบบนี้ประเทศไทยก็มีความจำเป็นที่จะต้องตอบโต้นะครับในสิ่งที่เราต้องป้องกันอธิปไตยของเราป้องกันดินแดนของเราป้องกันทรัพย์สินของคนไทยและสุดท้ายก็คือที่เราจะต้องป้องกันต้องดำเนินการอย่างสูงสุดก็คือต้องป้องกันชีวิตของประชาชนนี่คือเหตุที่ผมต้องอธิบายท่านประธานาธิบดีทรัมป์ไม่งั้นท่านก็จะไปเข้าใจว่าเราเนี่ยเป็นฝ่ายจู่โจมเป็นฝ่ายรุกรานประเทศกัมพูชาซึ่งไม่ใช่เลยเราตอบโต้แต่เราเวลาตอบโต้ในบางครั้งก็ต้องทำให้เขาได้ยินทำให้เขาเห็นว่าอย่ามาทำอย่างนี้กับเราไม่ใช่ประเทศที่คุณอยากจะทำอะไรคุณก็มาทำได้เขาก็อยากให้หยุดยิงผมก็ต้องบอกผมก็บอกท่านไปว่าเรียนท่านไปว่าขอให้ไปบอกเพื่อนเราดีกว่าว่าอย่าบอกว่าหยุดยิงเฉยๆต้องออกมาบอกให้โลกรู้ว่าเอาละกัมพูชาจะหยุดยิงกัมพูชาจะถอนกำลังออกไปกัมพูชาจะเก็บกู้วัตถุระเบิดที่วางเอาไว้นะครับ
The Prime Ministers of Latvia, Estonia and Lithuania met in Riga on December 12 to discuss the regional security and NATO cooperation amid rising tensions in the Eastern Europe. Latvian Prime Minister Evika Siliņa highlighted the importance of U.S. and NATO collaboration in ensuring the security of the eastern flank, while Lithuanian PM Inga Rugini reassured that American troops will remain stationed in the region. The meeting also touched on Europe's development of a drone wall for enhanced defense, with Latvia taking a leading role. The Baltic leaders emphasized their commitment to strengthening NATO's presence and protecting the region from emerging threats.
That is why I think we regularly, also at various NATO meetings, talk about the fact that we need the protection of this eastern flank. We have more established in the Baltic Sea. This is also the presence of NATO. There is also this presence of NATO on the eastern flank. Several times, NATO planes were taken off when there were these drone raids. And currently, Europe itself is also working on its so-called drone wall, or enabling drones. And Latvia is one of the leading countries together with Croatia.
I can assure you that the same number of American troops will remain in Lithuania for another 2 terms, and security and cooperation with our main strategic partners will be ensured. Well, it is ensured for a longer period. This is very important. And it is important both in the sense that America understands the situation of our Baltic region in particular, and understands how sensitive the zone is.
Russian Security Council Secretary Sergei Shoigu has awarded Lao PDR President Thongloun Sisolit the prestigious Order of Alexander Nevsky during a high-level ceremony in Vientiane. The visit marks a significant moment in Russia-Laos diplomatic relations, with discussions covering international coordination, regional security, military cooperation, and academic ties, and collaboration across justice, interior affairs, financial intelligence, and Russian Guard. Shoigu praised Sisolit's decades-long connection with Russia, calling the award a well-deserved recognition for his contributions to strengthening bilateral cooperation. Sisolit emphasized the importance of Shoigu's visit, noting it comes shortly after Laos marked the 50th anniversary of its proclamation.
Александр Невский,
Уважаемый товарищ президент, знаем, что вся ваша жизнь буквально со студенческой скамьи связана с нашей страной. Пронеся любовь к ней через многие годы,
Germany has summoned Russia's ambassador in response to a massive increase in hybrid attacks, including cyber attacks, disinformation campaigns, espionage, and attempted sabotage, a German foreign ministry spokesperson confirmed. During a press conference, Martin Jayes emphasized the goal of Russian hybrid activities is to divide society, undermine trust in democratic institutions, and provoke societal mistrust. Jayes added that Germany is monitoring Russia closely and taking action in close consultation with European partners. Countermeasures including individual EU sanctions, entry bans, asset freezes, and
Diese gezielte Informationsmanipulation reiht sich ein in eine Vielzahl von Aktivitäten Russlands, die darauf abzielen, das Vertrauen in demokratische Institutionen und Prozesse in Deutschland zu untergraben. Russland bedroht damit ganz konkret unsere Sicherheit, nicht nur durch seinen Angriffskrieg gegen die Ukraine, sondern auch hier bei uns in Deutschland. Heute Vormittag haben wir daher den russischen Botschafter ins Auswärtige Amt einbestellt und klar aufgezeigt: Wir beobachten sehr genau, was Russland tut, und wir gehen dagegen vor. Russlands unzulässiges Handeln hat Konsequenzen. Ich kann Ihnen heute mitteilen, dass wir in enger Abstimmung mit unseren europäischen Partnern eine Reihe von Gegenmaßnahmen ergreifen, um Russland einen Preis für sein hybrides Agieren aufzuzeigen. Zudem unterstützen wir auf europäischer Ebene neue Individualsanktionen gegen hybride Akteure mit den Folgen von Einreisesperren für Personen sowie der Einfrierung von Vermögenswerten und einem Bereitstellungsverbot wirtschaftlicher Ressourcen. Die Bundesregierung verurteilt die wiederholten und inakzeptablen Angriffe durch staatlich gesteuerte russische Akteure auf das Schärfste. Wir werden unsere Unterstützung für die Ukraine und unsere Abschreckung und Verteidigung weiter stärken.
Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif reaffirmed his country's strong support for the Palestinian right to self-determination during an address at the International Forum on Peace and Trust in Ashgabat. Sharif also warned that the ceasefire understanding with Afghanistan is very fragile, accusing the Taliban government of allowing terrorist groups to operate from its territory. He urged the international community to press the Afghan authorities to uphold their international commitments.
While we persevere in this quest for peace, the scourge of terrorism is, however, raising its head yet again.
And that's the end of the World 360. Stay tuned to CVR News English.